Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Golden with Weight and Gold, kicking off a discussion today of how to prepare for your first visit. Something we get all the time. We're excited. We make that phone call. We get that appointment. We're ready to start working on our journey. Now, what can I do? So hopefully this will help. Insurance. I know it's the business side of things. So at Weight and Gold, we do verify your insurance, whether it's in network or out of network. And this can be really complicated in terms of like, is it for the specific plan that you have and not just the payer? And there's all kinds of complications of like, yes, you can be seen, but maybe your insurance company won't pay for virtual care, or they'll only pay for certain services, or whether or not you have a deductible. So I always still encourage patients, if you want to be the most informed, which most of us do, because you're contracting with your insurance company to pay for your care on your behalf. So you want to know what they're willing and able to pay for. So you're not kind of held responsible for a bill that you weren't really sure of. So things to ask your insurance company: do you need a referral? In or out of network? What type of services can you be seen for? You may want to know what your deductible, copay, or co-insurance obligations are, what your out-of-pocket maximum is, all those fun things, all that business side of stuff that we'd really like to not know about, but it can be important and complicated. Another thing that could potentially be helpful to ask them, do I have coverage for medications to treat obesity? Do I have coverage for metabolic or bariatric surgery? We don't do surgery through our office, but it's a part of the spectrum of treatment. And when we're communicating based on your individual needs and your journey and where you're at, if surgery is or isn't an option for you, it can help direct our counsel and our conversations. So once we have all that fun insurance stuff out of the way, then we can start talking about like, what else can you do to prepare for your visit so you can get your checklist going. Reaching out to your primary care physician, or if you see specialists like cardiology or endocrinology, where those conditions may interplay so much with our weight, trying to get records or have your records sent over, specifically having access to your last visit, definitely your last wellness exam, and preferably we usually need to see labs within the last 3 to 6 months. So if you've had lab work done within the last 3 to 6 months prior to your appointment, either getting those sent over to us or just bringing a copy with you or having it on some type of portal, super helpful to help the provider working with you see how your weight may be impacting your health and what kind of medical conditions we have to consider as we're staging your condition and figuring out what treatment options there are for you. So what are the labs that we usually need? Like if you want to ask your provider, primary care provider, to order and get some labs updated for you while you're waiting for your appointment, so those results are ready and we don't have to order the panel and then wait for it after your appointment. Usually we're trying to look at liver health in general. So we usually would need what's called a CBC, complete blood count, and a comprehensive metabolic panel, also known as a CMP, in order to evaluate your liver. And then we're usually looking at cholesterol labs, which usually involves a lipid panel. And we usually need to know what type of insulin resistance someone has, how their body is processing blood sugar. So for those kinds of things, we're usually looking at like a fasting insulin level or hemoglobin A1C. And then the glucose level we can usually pull from the CMP, comprehensive metabolic panel, that we're getting related to liver health. So those are kind of the core ones that we're really looking for, depending on someone's individual condition. We and if you haven't had it tested within the last year or so, we may be needing things like a thyroid panel with TSH and T4 as a minimum, and things like CRP or ESR, which are like inflammatory markers that give us some idea of how much inflammation you have in your body related to the amount of adipose tissue and how healthy that adipose tissue may or may not be. So if you're looking to get some labs taken care of before you come in, those would be the items that maybe you would consider. If you've had a stress test related to cardiology or a calcium score, those would be helpful things to send over for us to have to review with you on your first visit as well. your history and your weight health journey. So we have a health history questionnaire that we've created from working with patients over and over, and really trying to give you the opportunity to share your personal experience so we can be familiar with you, get to know you, and meet you where you are, and figure out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And that health history questionnaire that's available on our website, or we can send it to you if you need it in a different format. Having that completed, working through it thoughtfully, trying to really think through those questions and give really valuable answers is really going to create a situation where we know you more as a person, and we can really develop a plan that's targeted for you as an individual, and you're more likely going to have better results from the start. And then other than that, I think really just doing kind of a lot of reflection and preparing for the visit. Please don't eat a last meal. Please don't start like a really restrictive diet probably prior to. We have a lot of patients that come in the weekend before their first visit. They didn't they like had all of their favorite foods, thinking we were going to take all of their foods away from them, right? And that's from a lot of our history with diet culture, where the only way to get results is to be really restrictive. So that's not the approach that we take at Weight and Gold. We meet you where you are. We focus on small, sustainable changes to where we can have a lifelong healthy balance with managing our weight health that's realistic, because this is a long-term journey. So no need to do any last suppers, or even start a really restrictive diet, trying to prepare for that visit. One of the biggest things that we like to discuss at that first visit is really understanding what your why is. So many of us have worked on our weight health for years because we just feel like we have to, or we should lose weight. Someone's told us we need to lose weight, but those aren't reasons really that are going to like motivate us and inspire us. So really getting to the bottom of understanding like, what's your why? Why is changing your weight, your body composition? What is this mean to you? And being able to share that with your provider. So what does that look like? For some of us, maybe we need to get a joint replacement, but why are we trying to get that joint replacement? To get out of pain? Why do we want to get out of pain? Probably because there are experiences in life that we're missing out on, because we're limited by that pain. Maybe we want to be able to crawl around on the floor with our grandchildren and not have concerns about, can we safely get up and down from the floor? That's a great why. That's a better why than like, my orthopedic surgeon told me I have to lose weight, right? That doesn't really inspire us. It doesn't really motivate us. So some reflection of what your why is, what your vision of success is, so we can start to build a plan for you when we have all the medical details together, your motivations together, and we can look at what we have in our toolbox in terms of nutrition, physical activity, behavioral change, and then the medicines and surgeries that you may or may not be indicated for you. And we'll hopefully know, if we've looked into it ahead of time, what tools we have available from that first visit. So I hope this has been helpful. Things for you to start working on, get those checklists taken care of prior to your first visit, understanding how important each of those are. And that way, from that first visit, we can get things started and have a great plan for you and see results sooner.